But I get it because honestly, I'm not a vehicle snob. But I did go to trade my SUV in a couple of years ago and I walked out with a Camaro. I'm like, what happened? Literally, what happened? I don't know what happened. I was walking towards the SUV and I went exit left. I'm standing over the Camaro. I like it. And now I'm test driving it. Now I'm like signing papers. I was kind of in a fog because it was kind of cool. And I got home and my sister was like, what'd you get? I'm like, a Camaro. She's like, what? I said, well, you've had two. She had two Camaros within 2 years with teenage kids telling them to get their asses in the backseat of that Camaro because she wanted this car. She was going to make it work. And I'm like, Angel, I mean, your kids are like 5'7", and I mean, I can't even, fit my backpack behind there. But yeah, make them get in. Shit, yeah. But I think we're all like that when I just thought about that. When I said car snobs. Not car snobs. Yeah, I guess we are. I only have a few things that I'm particular about, now that I'm sharing all my secrets, that I really like. Shoes, that's one. I like tennis shoes. I like shoes, not just tennis shoes. But I'm snobby about them. When it comes to tennis shoes, I only wear Nikes or Adidas. I don't know why. Well, yeah, I do, because of the comfort level. And I even found a couple of Adidas pairs that were not comfortable, so they got a couple of strikes. But I'm snobby with that. Isn't that weird? And then I like blankets. Yep, weird. I like blankets. But not fuzzy blankets. They can't be the kind that if you pull up around your neck that you're going to breathe in and fuzz is going to go up your nose. I will never own one of those. If I do, it's going to be in the closet because that's a deal breaker. And I'm not a purse person because I don't carry a purse because I got armed robbed years ago and I swore I'd never carry one again because of that. It was trauma, right? But I like bags, like what do you call them? You know how when they have like a man purse, but I don't call it a man purse because it doesn't look masculine, but where they cross over your body, that's the only kind I'll bring anywhere, and I don't usually bring it out in public. But they have to be like leather and smell like leather. So I guess I'm kind of a bag snob too. Isn't that weird? But I'm not really high maintenance with anything other than sleep. I am very high maintenance with that. 3 fans, got to have some light on, got to have my head covered. And nobody better wake me up. No slamming of the doors and all of that. But my sister, on the other hand, it seems that I'm taking some time to bash my sister, but this is our banter. This is just how we roll. She has a thing with cars where I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know if it's on purpose. I don't know if she has it in writing that she can't keep a car for over 10 months. But she switches them out like some people wear underwear and switch them out. And it's shocking how one day I'm at her house and then a couple days later I'm like, didn't you just have a maroon vehicle? Like, what happened? She wanted a Land Rover. Those things are expensive. Well, she doesn't even drive to work. She and her husband work at the same place. They ride together. And I'm like, was there like a $1,200 car note and it's just sitting in the garage? And that actually resonated with her. So she traded that one in because she realized the stupidity of that. And she got, what was it? I know it was an SUV. It was comfortable. But she switched out cars. It's shocking. I don't understand that. It's got to be a mental thing. Maybe she gets bored. Maybe she likes the new car smell. I don't know. But she's done that since I've known her. When she first I talked about her first car on my other audio recording. She had that white Pinto with that blue plastic interior. Well, there's my grandfather's brother. We called him Uncle Hut. He had a Chevette. Remember those Chevettes? The little, they're kind of like a step up from a Pinto, I guess, but they're ugly. But my dad bought this Chevette for my sister. And we were in Biloxi, and he bought it. I don't know, probably paid $800 for it. So I think it was me and Angel, and I think Sherry, my cousin, driving it back to Baton Rouge. We didn't even make it to Baton Rouge. It broke down in Holden. We had to call a friend of mine to come help us, and I don't even remember how we got the car home. I think Dad had to go tow it. And this little piece of shit, it lasted for a while, but it broke down. She'd have flat tires, My brother-in-law said it came with, a family of roaches in the back seat. But when she finally went to trade it in, so she and Jeff were getting married, and they were bringing it to this dealership, and it was at the corner of Airline and I-12. I don't remember the name of that dealership. But if you drive up I-12, you could always see the dealership off to the left. They changed it now. I don't know what it is. Well, she trades this car in, and they ended up shutting the dealership down. Like, all inventory's gone. It's an empty building and an empty parking lot, except her Chevette. Because when they basically pushed it onto the lot, it wouldn't run, so the people couldn't remove it. But what we said was, she went from having a Pinto to she got a Vet. I mean, she finally got a Vet. She always wanted a Vet. I mean, it's a Chevette, but it was still a Vet. But she finally basically had to push it onto the lot to trade it in. And those people sold the building, moved out, moved everything out. There's nothing there except her damn car. And it sat in the back of that parking lot for like 2 years. Like, every time we drive by. I mean, it's hilarious because it's lonely. There's nothing there. I'm like, they didn't even want that piece of shit. They couldn't get it out of there anyway because it didn't run. But we just, literally basically had to push it into the parking lot because it was hanging on by a thread. But she got her Vet, so that was kind of cool. I found a picture of my boat earlier, man. That was the other thing that when I was literally journaling earlier about, like, some of my favorite memories. I am a water fanatic, and I've had boats, several boats. The last boat I had was my favorite, and it was a Sea-Doo jet boat, and I donated it to the Cajun Navy. The Cajun Navy needed some flat bottom, like an inboard engine. They were, an outboard engine, I guess. I don't remember what it's called, but where you can lift it is easier to maneuver, but they didn't have many of those. But I let him have him a $20,000 boat, and I got a T-shirt, which I don't even know where it is. But that boat was so fun. And I used to take it to Destin. It had like a platform on the back, so you could go sit on the platform, dangle your feet in the water, maybe perhaps pee if needed, maybe. I mean, some people do that, like pee in the water. But it was a convenient place to do that if you chose to do that. Anyway, I took this boat out a lot. I used to work 2 days on, 2 days off. This is before I was doing readings, so I only worked 14 days a month. And on my days off, I was hooking that boat up and taking it out to the Diversion Canal, Amite River. I know those waterways like the back of my hand, every single one of them. Every house on that river, I could tell you what it looks like. I spent so much time out there. And I would bring people with me sometimes, but a lot of times I went by myself. It was just my sacred time. I wanted quiet time. Well, I wouldn't say quiet because I had a really cool stereo installed in that boat. And look, that is where I'm a snob. Sound. I can't have a little cheap speaker. I have to have decent sound system. I've always been like that. But I take pride in that, right? We want good sound. But I had a cool stereo and sound marine system installed in that boat, and I just spent a lot of time on the water. And I used to take it to Destin, and me and Juliet. So I would take the boat, where those that are familiar with Destin, where the jetties are. So you're coming from like Crab Island going towards the Gulf. You go through the jetties, and there's a lot of waves right there. So I'd pull the bow up on the boat. I'd kind of go slow, get through the jetties, and I would go out a good mile, sometimes a little further, straight out in the Gulf, and then I'd turn around and I would ride the waves back. And so, meaning that like it's just a cool feeling. It's like a roller coaster. So when you're coming up on a big wave and the bow of the boat's on the wave, and it, instead of letting it crash down off the wave, I would kind of let off the throttle and it would make your stomach drop. We did it for hours, like hours, in and out, in and out, in and out. And one night we took it out at midnight, went out to the dock and put the lights on the boat, and it was a full moon, and we did it for like 2 hours in the middle of the night. That was some of the most fun I've ever had in my life, ever, because I don't know, there's something about that water. To me, I mean, I'm from Biloxi. I'd never vacationed there. It's like the Mississippi River. And then it's not, you can't even swim. I mean, it doesn't even come up to your knees. You could walk out a mile, but the water's nasty. It is well worth driving 2 extra hours to get to Destin. And even past Orange Beach. Orange Beach is hit and miss. The water is nothing like Destin. Destin's like a Caribbean. The first time I ever went to Destin, my mouth dropped when we went over the Destin Bridge. And I was like, why did my cheap-ass family never come out here? Like, why? Why am I now a young adult having to come out here on my own? It doesn't matter. I need to go buy a jet ski, and that's what I did. I vacationed. I drove back to Baton Rouge, and I didn't even go home. I went straight to the dealership, and I bought a jet ski. And I had to be on that water. I wanted to be near that water. And, that to me is what me personally would describe it as damn near close to heaven on earth. The clarity of the water is absolutely stunning. It looks like a swimming pool. And it is, it's just gorgeous, right? I've even had close friends that travel a lot to the Bahamas and all, and they're like, they come back to Destin, and they said the clarity of the water in Destin is actually better than a lot of the places they've been in the Bahamas. The Florida Keys, that bluish color of the water, now that's pretty. That's really pretty. But I don't know, Destin has this place in my heart that I think it was because of the feeling I had the first time I went there. I was so stunned, like, why did my family never come here? We're from Biloxi. We've traveled. We've gone to the beach. This is bullshit. That's what I said. I got ripped off. And then I asked my mom that. I'm like, Mom, help me understand. Like, why would we go to Gulf Shores? You even rented these big beach houses in Gulf Shores. We could have driven 1 more hour and not had shit water. I don't get it. I don't think she ever gave me a clear answer. Probably because she didn't have one. But that place was life-changing for me. And so then I just made it a habit of visiting on a regular basis. And for those that have a boat, if you stay at the Sandpiper Cove, they have some really nice condominiums there. You can actually rent the boat slip right outside of your condo. Just jump in your boat and go. You don't have to bring it to the marina or anything. I mean, it's just a suggestion. I've stayed there numerous times. It's convenient. You just don't, you don't have to load your boat up on the trailer and all of that. But, man, that place is so special to me. It's just so special. My niece got married last December, and so when I was going through cancer treatment, she went. She had her bachelorette trip to Destin. I think there were like 8 of us, and I had a PICC line in my arm. It couldn't get wet, so I'm like, this is some BS, right? I'm going to Destin, and I can't get my arm wet. I mean, it's worth pulling this thing out, but I didn't. And but we went. Oh, I'm gonna have to stop this recording. I'll start another one.